Paint me. Paint me like one of your French girls, Andrew Painter. PHLY Phillies show is next. Welcome into the PHLY Phillies podcast live from the Xfinity Lounge.
Jamie's ready to trade it all for Andrew Painter.
Presented by our friends over at Bet365, where winning is everything. A little behind the scenes to start the show here today. Right before the cold open of the show, I said to Anthony, you're absolutely going to hate my cold open.
You weren't wrong.
It's going to make you squirm. And did it ever?
Still feeling a little dirty. I don't know, that was maybe the one downside of Andrew Painter's major league debut.
He ruined it. No, he ruined it. He just ruined it.
Well, the other option I thought about on the way in today was grabbing a cigarette and just being like, Andrew Painter, so good.
I'll tell you, there's a lot of Phillies fans that are feeling like that last night into this morning, man. This is
Listen, thank you, Corey.
Let's talk baseball here.
Let's go baseball. I cannot have this dude talking about a French girl. Like, no.
I will say I get it because Jamie's been waiting 3 years, as many Phillies fans have. This has been years in the making.
But who has that thought?
The guy's he's ready to trade it all. He saw enough last night.
It's a famous movie quote, and it's a natural. You know what movie?
No.
This is the least Anthony Gargano movie of all time. One of the biggest grossing movies of all time. Titanic.
Oh, man.
Young Leo? Young Leo, who showed as much prime.
You're just ruining that incredible night. It was amazing watching that kid pitch, and to hear you talk about it.
Making you squirm really brings me a lot of joy in life.
Yeah.
You know, I was just going to. I think what Jamie was going for, he was talking about like a young Leonardo DiCaprio being above his years in terms of. Yeah, sure is.
Maybe it's all that Andrew Painter talk.
Look, I saw a lot out of Andrew Painter that I think is relevant for optimism this season and beyond, because everybody was expecting that this kid was going to be able to go out and maybe throw like a high 90s fastball, but what he also did was show that he had command of his curveball, his changeup, his slider. He missed bats with all of those pitches, and there was just so much that we saw last night that builds hope for Painter's 2026 and beyond. I mean, what a foundation for him to lay in his first major league start.
Wow, you're so right, Corey. One of the things that really he knows how to pitch.
Yeah.
Like, usually a kid like that's got great stuff and you rely on your stuff. But he knew how to pitch. So he's changing the batter's eyes. Let me work high up in the zone, right, with his fastball. And then let me work then low in the zone, below it with my changeup and my sinker. And, dude, like, that's pitching.
It sure is. And what I liked most of all was that he didn't nibble at any point.
No.
Even when he got into trouble, he trusted his stuff. He didn't feel like, okay, I need to pinpoint this pitch on the outside corner. That's where a lot of guys get into trouble. 2 on, nobody out, and then you get into a 2-0 count, and now all this pressure's on you. But Andrew Painter just trusted, like, I'm going to let these guys try to put it in play.
The moment where I really got excited was the 4th inning. There's a pop-up, and you see Trey Turner. He loses it in the lights right away.
Yeah.
I'm not going to nitpick here. Could have done a little more vocalization of.
Well,
it was kind of like, I don't see it, but he wasn't like yelling it.
Well, so his hands went up in the air. I'm watching it all unfold from the press box, and immediately you could see that Trey Turner had no idea where the ball was.
You got to scream that out.
But Bryson Stott was also looking up at the same time, so he doesn't see Trey Turner's motion.
So it happens in
yeah.
baseball. But that was on 2 on. I think 1 out at the time. That was one of those moments where it's like, all right, Painter, you got to bear down and get out of this. And what does he do? Boom. He's got the fading 4-seamer that comes in high in the zone, does that twice, attacks him, and then breaking ball, same spot.
Well, he's got late life on his fastball.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's really impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're throwing that thing, and it explodes on you. It's got late life.
And he gets
That's
the
what makes it hard.
He gets the strikeout right there.
Off.
Next batter bails out the defensive
Well,
error.
the thing, like you haven't seen him like been barreled up like a lot.
No.
You saw him in the spring. I haven't seen him barreled up a ton.
The one hit by Nunez was a cue shot down the third base line that he barely caught up to.
That's right. And even like dating back to his first spring training start against the Yankees when he wasn't missing a ton of bats, all of the contact was soft. Jam jobs. I think he had 5 jam jobs at broken bats in his first 2 spring starts. But no, last night with that 4th inning, the 5th inning, he was getting stronger as the game wore on. He had 5 strikeouts in the 4th and 5th innings. The fastball velocity was waning a little bit as he got deeper into the game, which is probably to be expected. But no, I saw a kid who seemed to be in complete control from the first pitch. Like he knew that his mentality is probably, I should be able to beat these hitters if I have my good stuff. And he sure did. I mean, that was probably the best curveball that he's shown in 2023, in 2025, 2020, at any point, So that's a major part of his game is that like he has the 90, he had 97, 98 last night, which he didn't have in spring training. More than a dozen pitches at 97. So
98.7 was his max out. And
right.
I'm rounding that up. That's a 99 in my book.
It sure is. It sure is. And I mean, look, if you have 99, you can get away with a lot. And even if that dips down to 95, he has so many other weapons to get a guy out the third time through. Like he has enough weapons that he doesn't have to show you the curveball or the changeup your first at bat. So, I see a lot in Andrew Painter that should be sustainable over the course of not just this season, but I mean, his Phillies career.
Yeah, well, you brought up, I thought, a great comp because you said earlier this morning, you and I were talking, and you said he reminds you of Wheeler, and he does. Like that kind of bulldog, the ball's heavy.
Mm-hmm.
We talked always about like barreling up Wheeler. It's so hard to do that because when you throw that heavy ball, it's hard to kind of make square contact.
It sure is. And, Andrew Painter, he has the size of like a traditional workhorse. Yeah. He has the arsenal of a traditional workhorse, the velocity. So, I mean, really all that he needs to do now is put it together for a full season, which you hope that this year is.
And for him, it's going to be about command.
Yeah, for sure.
You command your other pitches. And like that's what he had last night. He had command of everything.
Yeah, 85 pitches on the night, gets through 5 1/3. We'll get to the decision to pull him in a second. 8 Ks, 9 whiffs on the night, topped out at 99 miles an hour. He had a series, I think, in the second inning where it was 98, 99, 99. 70% K rate, which is filthy. 1 earned run, just the 4 hits. One of them was a cue shot down the line that Nunez could barely catch up to.
And one of them was that double. And one of them was that double that shouldn't have been a double that dropped in behind the second baseman. So, I mean, really, what is that, like 2 hits and one of the runs? Wasn't it that the run that he allowed was inherited by Tanner Banks?
Sure.
And it only scored because Adolis Garcia
luck.
made a throw that hit C.J. Abrams' leg. So that could have been a scoreless outing for Andrew Painter. Results-wise, impressive debut, but just in terms of stuff, like we've seen some really impressive Phillies debuts, like Mick Abel last season. I'm sure we'll get to more, but it was just like this looked like an actual veteran pitcher. This didn't look like a rookie thrower at 99. Like Bubba Chandler, I think, also made his major league debut last night. He walked 6 guys. Yeah. That's a way different major league debut. So with Andrew Painter, he's like, I'm not saying he's like a finished product by any means, but he's more of a polished pitcher than most guys are at 22.
When we talk about stuff's great. You got to be able to harness it. Like that always goes back to, can I locate where's my command of my other pitches? And he's able to do that. He does look polished. You're right about he looked like a pitcher. It was funny. Last night was the debut night, right? Porter Martone for the Flyers. So I was texting with Tocchet about Martone. I'm like, what is he? And he goes, he's a hockey player, right? And that thing is just like Painter. He's a pitcher.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a gamer. There's certain guys who have that, who aren't, like going to flail at the moment, that are going to meet the moment. And when I talked about Wheeler earlier, that would be his best case scenario, Andrew Painter, if he could turn into a Zach Wheeler. But what I mean by that is that you have a guy who has this deep mix of pitches that throws really quality strikes when things are going right. Like with Zach Wheeler, it's not just that he has a great fastball and great secondary stuff. It's also that the fastball is like in the perfect spot just below a hitter's hands or in the perfect spot on the low outside corner. And some of these locations that Andrew Painter hit last night, with the strikeouts in particular, like to Kybert Ruiz or to Nunez, curveballs and changeups that are just like a smidge below the zone. There were a couple times the Nationals challenged him because they challenged pitches because they didn't believe there were strikes, and they were out of challenges quickly in the game because of that.
Which came into play later with Duran in the 9th inning.
Yeah, which was big.
Which we'll get to because this new ABS world we live in, like the the inner game within the game is kind of fun. I think it brings a lot to the game.
It's a blast. But it's like to Corey's point, when you know what, I'm hitting you with a high fastball.
Yeah.
Where my eyes lighten up, like I'm going to chase that, and now you drop me that far down.
Nasty.
It's just death on a hitter.
So Corey, you were down there last night. I thought there was a very fitting picture of Andrew Painter as he's entering the game. Zach Wheeler's on the top step, just kind of looking at him like,
that's cool.
Yeah, kid, this is your moment. Like, go get it. It was a very cool moment. But the thing that stood out to me, and I want to hear from the clubhouse and down there last night, he just looked cool, composed. He had 35 or 40 family members there. His mom and his girlfriend are sitting right behind home plate. Like, he didn't look phased once.
And he
looks like he's got it.
That's important because there's so much external energy being thrown at him between the fan base and like his family and friends that probably have all this nervous energy. Is it easier if he starts with his career
on the road versus at Citizens
Bank?
Right.
People talk about that all the time too. But he was able to like just block it all out like Kevin Costner in For Love of the Game. That's like it's the key for these pitchers is to be able to just like all the noise fades away. And he's been that way since he was 19, and he's also been able to watch guys like Wheeler and Nola who are stoic. Who better to learn from than guys like that? It was just cool last night watching Painter get standing ovations when he walked out to the bullpen to warm up, when he came back in from the bullpen making the slow walk with JT Realmuto, which always looks cool because you have like the image of the pitcher and the catcher side by side kind of. And people standing up and cheering him as he comes back. He heard that, but he had to just block it out until the end of the night because even after he exits the game, you can't really relax because you can guarantee that he wanted to get a W in his major league debut, and that game got kind of tense toward the end.
Well, I mean, Marsh makes a great play on the ball. That ball was smoked.
That was a hard hit ball.
That ball was smoked. I mean, thank God that, because I brought this up to you, but I don't know about you guys. I mean, you got the Schwarber home run, the Garcia home run, the kids on the mound dealing. I'm thinking this is an 8-1 game.
Yeah. I think today's the day they busted open. But it did feel last night like, all right, after that Adolis home run, let's bust this open and put up a crooked number here. And it just didn't happen.
They had the bases loaded.
I thought it was going to be the kind of night where like the veteran bats said like, all right, we're going to pick up the kid. Like we're going to make sure he wins his debut. And it just really never happened.
And you had the matchup.
Yeah, it wasn't a great night for the offense. They did just enough. They're not going to be winning many games if they score 3 runs. Still have some guys who aren't like clicking yet, like Harper, for example. His exit velocities, like it's not even just that he's making outs; it's he's not making a lot of huge contact yet. Could change any moment. I mean, he could in this game, afternoon
he's
game.
He's always been a slow starter. We've talked about that.
He had the one on Monday that he missed about 3 feet foul that he really roped. So hopefully that's a good indicator he's getting there. But yeah, the offense certainly didn't like calm any of the fears out there. I'd love to hear from the chat what everybody thought about Andrew Painter and his trajectory. I see Ray, our friend in the chat, being like, I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but like I have irrational thoughts about how good this kid can be. Ray, let the irrational thoughts take over. I mean, this kid is one of the top pitching prospects in baseball. And for a debut with rookies, we talked about it with Justin Crawford opening day, you just want to see early that they look like they belong, that they look like they're unfazed. And he did that in spades last night.
You know what excites me? Is I'm looking at a rotation that is just ridiculous. It's not even close. The Phillies will have the best rotation in baseball when you're rolling Sanchez and Wheeler and Luzardo and Painter. And Nola's your 5.
And Wheeler's going to be back in a couple weeks. And we also saw last night what like the Keller-Duran dynamic at the back end of a game, how that can just totally shut a game down. Like, you're not going to be getting 7 innings out of your starter every night. No. There are going to be a lot of nights you get 5 1/3 like you got out of Painter, maybe 6. But if then you can follow that with like Alvarado, Keller, Duran, those are arms that are nearly as unhittable as the starting pitcher. So it's a pretty good formula the Phillies have built at the back end of bullpens. I said they're not going to win many games if they score 3 runs, but they do have a team that's built to win 4-2, 5-3, a lot of games like that.
No, they're built that way. I mean, this rotation, this reminds me of 2011.
Yeah.
So what did you guys think of Thompson's decision to bring Painter back out in the 6th? I think he was at 76 pitches, if I'm not mistaken, off the top of my head, at the end of the 5th. It was right around that kind of like pitch count we thought might be his limit. Rob brings him back out and then pulls him after 1 out. Did you think he should have stayed in? Were you surprised he went back out? How did you
I liked it. I thought he handled it right.
Yeah.
That's what I would have done. The minute that there was this guy on base, then you pull.
Yeah, I joked to Matt Gelb next to me that Rob Thompson, when he went to go out there, said he's going to go take a look in his eyes. Like, remember when Charlie Manuel used to go out to talk to Roy Halladay and he would leave his belly?
Anthony, I'm leaving. Call it Hamels. Hamels coming. I'm leaving Hamels in.
But I thought it was the right decision. I mean, he struck out the side in the 5th inning.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting him to go out for the 6th until
I wasn't expecting it either.
But it was such a dominant 5th that, like, why not?
Yeah, it was like 8-pitch 5th, I think.
And it was the 3rd time through the order, so Rob Thompson told Painter before he goes out, if you put a guy on base, I'm probably coming out and pulling you. And he reminded him to tip his cap to the fans when he came back to the dugout, which he did. But it made sense to pull him at that point. He was at 78 pitches. You want the guy to end on a high note. Like, it would have stunk if he then gives up like a double and it's 2nd and 3rd, or God forbid a 2-run homer.
I agree. I thought it was handled perfectly.
Nice.
I would have done the same thing.
All right, we'll talk about the offense on the other side. And Kyle Schwarber taking grounders at first yesterday prior to the game. We'll talk about that coming up next after a word from some of our friends. Bet365, where winning is everything. And they know that winning money is great, but winning with their money is even better. And there's never been a better time to do that than right now with their Bet $10, Get $365 promo, available now to all new users with Bet365. All you have to do is sign up, make a $10 bet, and win or lose, you'll be given $365 in bonus bets, because it never hurts to have a little cheese or bread or onions. At Bet365, where winning is everything. Download the app today and use code PHLY365 at sign up. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Please gamble responsibly. Must be present in PA. $10 minimum deposit required. Bonus bet wager excluded from returns. New customers only. 21 plus only. Time limits, minimum odds. Terms and conditions apply. In-app only. Void where prohibited. Tax season's a funny time of the year, because I don't really check my finances as well as I should throughout the course of the year. And for a lot of people, you're in the same boat as me. Tax season, you actually pay attention to your finances, and that's why the Monarch Money app is here to help you out. Because when my wife and I were getting serious about our finances, we knew we needed somebody watching over us and having our back. So simplify your finances with Monarch. Monarch is the all-in-one personal finance tool designed to make your life easier. It brings your entire financial life, budgeting, accounts and investments, net worth, future planning, all in one dashboard right there on your phone or your laptop. So feel aware and in control of your finances this tax season and get 50% off your first year subscription with code PHLY. Achieve your financial goals with Monarch, the all-in-one tool that makes money management simple. Use code PHLY at monarch.com for half off your first year. 50% off at monarch.com, code PHLY. PHLY Phillies podcast live here from the Xfinity Lounge, presented by our friends at Bet365. And I myself, this morning after a pitching performance like that, had to grab a Sizzly. But let's talk about Wawa's big deal on this Wednesday.
Come on, stop. It wasn't because of pain.
No, I just love Sizzlies. Yeah. I'm hungry, and I love Sizzlies. I'm a pork roll, egg and cheese bagel guy, followed by the sausage biscuit.
Yeah, now listen, we're at Wawa every day. Like practice.
Yeah.
Gatorade, a $5 deal, whenever we're always there.
So the Wawa big deal today. Corey, Ant, I want to get your thoughts on this. Might be nothing, could be something. Yesterday before the game, Kyle Schwarber taking grounders and some field work at first base prior to the game. My initial thought about it, besides just wanting to get a glove on your hand and get some work in, is maybe JT, they don't want ever playing first ever again. Like, they want true days off for him. And especially with Marsh swinging a good bat to start the year. Or maybe, with Sosa playing a true platoon more with Stott, having Bohm cover first left. I didn't make too much of it, but Corey, what are your thoughts on Schwarber taking grounders at first?
Well, what you just said about Sosa could make some sense. It could be some of that like if Stott is sitting against a left-handed starter and you already have Sosa at second base, and you are not starting Bryce Harper, for example, at first, it might be Bohm at first, and then you need. So it makes sense that they're trying to increase the versatility of Schwarber to make him an option to play first base. I don't know if it's actually going to happen. I would point to last spring, the Phillies talked about how they wanted to get Kyle Schwarber out in the field at first base, in left field. He started 4 games at first base last spring, but I don't think he played at all in the regular season. Also, you guys do this sometimes. Outfielders come into the infield just to take ground balls to see how the ball, the reaction. Like Nick Castellanos took ground balls at third base from time to time as a Philly. He was never going to be playing third base as a Philly. It was just a way to give him more reps of like fielding grounders, because you have to field grounders sometimes in the outfield too, with balls that come between short and third, first and second. So
especially when they're hit hard and the ball's getting on you.
Yeah, it's interesting, but I don't think it means that like Bryce Harper's moving back to the outfield.
I saw some initial panic of like, oh no, is the wrist still bothering him? Is it worse than we know? Yada, yada, yada.
Nah.
Your co-host Anthony is in the chat, and make sure you hit that thumbs up button there, VG. He says, need Schwarber at first while Harper stinks. Your thoughts on your co-host?
He's an idiot.
I'll tell you what, though, if Schwarber takes ground balls there every day for a couple weeks, then it becomes something. But if it's just like a day here and there, I don't necessarily think.
All right, so the big deal, do we see Kyle Schwarber play first this year?
No.
Over, under, half a game?
No.
Yeah, I'm still going to go under.
No.
Under? I'm also an under.
No.
Okay.
It would be could though.
It would be cool.
He played first base in the postseason with the Red Sox. What was that, like 2021?
I don't know if it would be cool.
It would just be interesting to see. I mean, he didn't perform well defensively in the postseason, but he did that like out of nowhere. He was not expecting to be thrust into first base duty. Whereas this time, if it happens, he would have a little more practice. But there's so many other options they have. Bohm, Kemp, So
I don't want Schwarber first.
All right, that's today's Wawa Big Deal. All right, the offense. What jumps out to you about the last two games? We do have to talk about sitting Stott and Crawford on Monday, since it happened since our last show. I thought it was a little bit of a strange move on Monday, with Sunday already being an off day for Crawford. What are your observations on the offense as a whole thus far? I think Adolis is doing a nice job so far. I mean, him putting one into the opposite field over the fence yesterday, I think is a good indicator. We'll start with you, Corey, and then Ann, I want to hear your observations on the offense so far.
Yeah, I mean, the top of the order just hasn't done much. Schwarber's hit 2 home runs, but Trey Turner and Bryce Harper really hit, what do they have, 1 hit apiece, I think they're still stuck on, and you're just, the offense is built around those 3 guys. There'll be games here and there where you can win based on like Marsh performing or Stott performing or Bohm coming up with a big hit, but you're going to need those guys to stir the drink, and there just hasn't been enough yet. I mean, Garcia, I agree. It's been impressive that he's shown his strength, his power, kind of muscled that ball out to right field last night, because it didn't seem like he got all of it. But what the Phillies need in order to have one of these 8-1 wins, like Anthony mentioned, is they need Trey Turner to get on base 3 times and Bryce Harper to have a couple RBIs. Like when the game started last night, Trey Turner flied out to left field and kind of like hung his head in frustration. You're not used to seeing that so early in the season, but it just speaks to how much these guys are scuffling early.
Yeah, I mean, look.
Today, day? Do they bust out?
Again,
we got first pitch in like 40 minutes.
I know. Turner and Bryce, they start off slow. They usually start. I mean, Bryce is a slow starter. That's kind of where it is. And if those guys are going to start off slow, the offense, to Corey's point, is going to look like that.
Yeah.
I'm a Garcia guy, so I
like the signing.
I like Garcia.
I desperately just want to see Trey and Crawford on the base pass at the same time.
Well, Crawford's been impressive like every game.
Yeah.
And Crawford's done his thing like almost every game. He had another hit last night. And he just, he looks like he's going to be fine in the 9 spot. And he's probably not going to be in the 9 spot for much of his major league career, I'll tell you that.
I do like it. I love it down there, though. I love that 9-1 combo that sets the table.
It's a great way to break him in, but we just haven't seen it yet because he's been doing his job at Turner.
It was just the first game, right? They were on base.
And then Bryce couldn't take advantage of it, I believe.
Let me throw this at you, both you guys, because there's a lot of chatter when it comes to Bryce about body language. In fact, you just kind of said it, like, kind of hung his head. And you know better than anybody, because I got a buddy of mine who's like, he's miserable. He's not having fun. He's miserable. Look at his body language.
Even when he's having fun, he looks miserable.
That's who he, like.
Yeah, that's him.
Like, that's who it is. Like, we read into this stuff. Trust me, you can't, and from being in the clubhouse and being around it, that you can't look from your couch.
No.
And get an accurate depiction of what's going on.
No, and with Bryce, I mean, I just see a guy who takes the game extremely seriously, and when he's not playing well, he takes it hard because he wants to perform for his team, for himself, for the fan base. Like last night, he comes up with the bases loaded, hits a ground ball that ends up getting booted by the first baseman, so it drives in a run. He gets the RBI, but he wasn't satisfied with himself in that spot. He wanted to do more damage than just bring in the one run. So he takes the game super seriously, and there are guys who go out there and play joyously, and you can see it wear it on their sleeve. But Harper's not that way, and
he's never been that guy,
and he shouldn't step outside himself to be someone he's not.
No, he's never been that guy. There are, like, you're right. Like, you see some of the Dominican kids that come up, they're just let's go have fun, and that's great, and that's fun for a fan to see. But if you're not wired that way, I mean, he's wired serious. He takes it like...
Yeah, he's like a union worker, like out there grinding.
Well,
like,
his father was an iron worker.
Yeah, like literally lunch pail and hard hat. That's how he takes his job.
And that's how I wrote that piece on him.
It's a great piece, allphly.com. Check it out.
In the story, like, he's doing a 3-hour hitting session with Segui.
Mm-hmm.
And in that story, like, he's like, he noticed he had a hole. And he's like, hey, Mr. Segui. I mean, this is when he was a kid. He's like,
16,
what are you...
I think you said at the time.
Yeah, 17. What are you seeing? And, like, that's the level of, like, it's business and work.
Mm-hmm.
But,
and it rubs off on the younger players on this team, like the Marshes and the Stotts of the world who came up and had Bryce Harper as their veteran.
Sure.
It goes a long way.
And you talk about the youth. Last night, this was courtesy of Matt Gelb, with Justin Crawford and Andrew Painter starting last night. It was the youngest duo in their starting lineup since 2020, with Rafael Marchand and Mickey Moniak getting the start. And these two kids...
I would like to think their upside, this duo's upside is a little bit higher.
A little bit higher. A little bit higher. But these two kids, it's really remarkable. And I do want to get into some of the best rookie debuts in Phillies history, because I think you can put Andrew Painter's right up there amongst the best of them. I really do. Now, we'll talk about Mick Abel in a minute. And I believe Chase Utley had the grand slam in his first at-bat.
A pinch hit grand slam?
Yeah, pinch hit grand slam. But this was courtesy of Todd Zalecki on MLB.com, who does a great job. Best Phillies rookies debut. I just stuck to the modern history. No offense to LC, who had a really good debut, but we kept it pretty much to this era. Jimmy Rollins went 2 for 4 with a triple, stolen base, and a walk in his debut.
Yeah, it's J-Roll, vintage J-Roll,
a triple in
Mr.
your debut.
Triple, man.
Yeah.
Come on, he was
Let's
the
get
best.
some thumbs up in the chat for Mr. Jimmy Rollins, and you can talk to this one. Pat Burrell was a huge deal. Number 1 pick in the draft, power hitting bat out of University of Miami, comes up and ropes a double in his first game, gets 2 ribbies. That was a big deal.
It was. You know, the shame about Burrell was he was a good ball player.
Yeah.
But
he was perfect for what that team needed.
He was. But he was one of those guys where you're like, if I just had a little more.
Yep.
Like, he had the power. Like, he had great power. I wanted to see his power numbers go up.
Yeah.
The only thing that disappointed about Burrell was that. But he was great for the club. And man, I thought he was going to hit more bombs.
Yeah.
He was also one of those guys where I think he was a victim of his own early success. I think it was like his second year. I want to say he hit like 280 with 37 homers, and it made people think, oh, he's going to be able to do that every year.
I did, yeah.
The power stayed, the batting average didn't. The one of the debut that I remember most was Brett Myers.
Yeah, Brett Myers.
Remember that?
Yeah, I think I was 9 or 10 years old
At
just
Wrigley
watching
Field.
that. I think it was like a Saturday afternoon or maybe.
I want to say you're right.
And it was just like, wow, this kid's for real. Went 8 innings in his debut. You would never see that nowadays. Even if someone's at like 75 pitches, I don't think a manager's sending someone out for 8 innings in their debut. But with Painter, it was like almost not even as much about the results as it was just about everything he showed, like the confidence and the command and the poise and the curveball and the velocity, and all of that rolled into one made it a memorable Phillies debut.
Yeah, so Brett Myers made his debut at Wrigley. It was another great one there. I believe it was 8 Ks. And then again on that list,
Cole Hamels
and Abel.
Mick Abel. We forget about it, but Mick Abel, he out-dueled Paul Skeens last year. Just a year ago, tied a Phillies franchise record with 9 strikeouts on the night, was throwing gas, looked the part, 5 hits, 1 walk. So 2 really good debuts from young guys, but I hate to say Andrew Painter impressed me more than both of those off of my memory, but it kind of did just from the arsenal, the command. He just looked phenomenal. So I'll put him up there against anyone. Yeah,
and all of those debuts mattered. Like, I know we talked about this before, but that Mick Abel game boosted his trade value significantly.
Absolutely.
The small sample size he had in the majors last season where he found success enabled him to be the centerpiece of a trade. Painter has far more upside than a guy like Abel, because that kind of demonstrates the difference between like a typical good young pitcher and the rarity of Andrew Painter.
Yeah.
Like Mick Abel has 99, but he doesn't have nearly the command of the rest of his pitches the way Andrew Painter does. Difference between coming up and throwing gas and coming up and being like a almost fully formed pitcher already.
Yeah. Now I have to, and I don't know if you ever watched Ratatouille much with the boys.
Oh, I love Ratatouille.
All right, so I blame
That was a favorite in our house.
Little Chef. Great flick.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I blame Shil Kapadia for this. Actually, Shil Kapadia's daughter for this, because I will never see Andrew Painter the same ever again for as long as I live. Shil went to the game with his daughter last night and tweets out, "My daughter, official take on Andrew Painter. He looks like the chef from Ratatouille. She whipped up the Alfredo Linguini comp as soon as we got home. My, oh my, Shil's daughter hit the nail on the head there. I will never see anything the same ever again. Look at that little chef."
Did Alfredo Linguini wear the Phillies hat in the movie? No? I've never seen it, so I don't know. But
So thank you, Shil, for that comparison that I will never unsee.
How about what he did with the sage, the mushroom that got
Such a good movie.
that got struck by lightning? So it had a nice char to it.
Such a good movie.
I watched that movie 1,000 times.
Yeah, that's up there.
Daddy, what do you want to watch? Daddy, Ratatouille. All right.
Apparently the Ratatouille ride down at Disney World is like amazing too.
Oh,
Yeah.
They never did a Ratatouille 2. They did every one.
I know. We got Toy Story 5 this year, but I'm in for a Ratatouille 2. Yeah, let's do it. Let's make it happen. All right, Corey, I saw a tweet of yours last night during the game. Wanted to touch on the Phillies defense. Monday night, I think they got charged with 2 errors, but it felt like 9.
Oof.
Like they couldn't even like catch and throw the ball on Monday, so I'm just going to scrap that one as an outlier, hopefully. But last night, Adolis Garcia ran down a ball that easily last year with Nick Castellanos is an RBI double.
No shot.
No chance. Nick
No
gets to that.
shot.
And Adolis' defense, and I think you saw it with Justin Crawford a little bit too, maybe better than we were hoping for with the Monty's alley ball or Monty's angle ball. The defense should be improved this year, and Adolis Garcia is a big reason why.
yeah, I mean, when you think about the ways a guy can provide value, add wins to your team, that's how you do it. Like outfield defense is not sexy, it doesn't stand out, but Adolis Garcia being able to run 94 feet from right center to the right field line to catch that ball last night in the 4th inning was the difference between the Phillies being down 1-0 in Andrew Painter's debut with runners on second. It was second inning rather, with runners on second and third and 1 out, and it's still being a scoreless game with 2 on and 2 outs, and he quickly gets out of the jam. So it changes everything about Painter's night, first of all. And it just shows you that, like, even if Adolis Garcia is slumping, even if he's not hitting you 32 homers, the defense is going to be a lot better out in right field because Nick Castellanos tried hard
the
out there.
outfield in general, because you have Crawford at center.
Mm-hmm.
And look what the play Marsh makes. Marsh makes a nice play in left.
Extremely important to solidify that
Got
win.
a good jump on the ball, read it perfectly. That ball was scorched. And I love Crawford at center. I think their defense, I think they're built. Listen, I give Dombrowski credit in this. I think he looked at it and went, we're going to build
Defense
our team
and
around pitching and defense.
Yeah, run prevention. I mean, there's more range in this outfield, too. Like, when Marsh plays left field, he has more range than Max Kepler did last season.
Absolutely.
When Garcia's in right field, more range than Castellanos. Like, Castellanos tried really hard, and he put a ton
And
of
he got
hours
better
into
when
it.
he was here. I will give him that
But
because
if
of the
you-
analytics department.
But you either have
they
speed.
repositioned him so he could come in.
Yeah,
on
but you
balls
either
better.
have speed and range or you
But he
don't.
stunk. I'm
Yeah.
not supporting. I'm
So,
just saying.
I mean, Adolis Garcia hit a solo home run last
hard.
night. Adolis Garcia hit a solo home run last night, but I thought the play he made in right field was even bigger because that could have resulted in multiple runs.
Right, because when that thing falls, that's a big inning waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Sure is.
And that's a young kid on the mound, and who knows if it's the same evening we're talking about. All right. We got to talk about Rob Thompson. Duran benefited from the ABS challenge system, but more importantly, we talk about the defense. Monday night, there was a ball in center field that I think Justin Crawford gets to that Brandon Marsh didn't. Brandon Marsh, in the inverse, last night makes a play that a left fielder, Max Kepler, doesn't make next year. We have to talk about why Justin Crawford sat on Monday on the other side after a word from some of our friends. Xfinity has a 5-year price guarantee. What if you knew you could have reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi? And what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year guarantee. Imagine a Wi-Fi at home that makes everything work together. That's It finds problems and fixes them before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. And that lets you stream the game, even when your whole family is online. All your devices in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and Xfinity's best equipment included. Take it from me. A lot can change in 5 years. Championships are won, records are broken, and dreams grow bigger. But your Wi-Fi, it should stay reliable, and the price should stay put. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities with Xfinity. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Select plans only, restrictions apply. Dads, moms, maybe clumsy people out there, we've all been there. You drop your sunglasses, they crack, a kid rips them off of your hat, you're playing out back, baseball activity. Breaking sunglasses is the worst. And you know that moment when you left your favorite sunglasses at the beach or in your car or wherever. And here's the best part. Shady Rays is the eyewear that has your back. You can wear your sunglasses without fear on hikes, at concerts. If you lose or break them, even on day 1, Shady Rays will send you a brand new pair. No guilt trip. Just replacements. When I found Shady Rays, it changed my entire sunglass universe. I could wear them around the kids and doing activities with no fear anymore. So go to shadyrays.com and use code PHLYSR for 40% off on 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. PHLY Phillies podcast. Jamie Lynch, Anthony Gargano, Corey Seidman here from the Xfinity Lounge. All right, Monday night. Sunday was the off day for Stott and Crawford, and I went, all right, yeah, that's fine. You know, lefty pitcher, get them off their feet, whatever. Monday, I was like, we're going to see at least Justin Crawford again, another lefty on the mound. Rob Thompson makes the decision, and we're going to get into this on the Evans Pest Home Field Advantage. If you need pest control in your home, hit up Evans Pest Control. Justin Crawford. Now, we have some splits from his minor league. When you see his splits and then think about Monday night, I want you to view Monday night's decision from Rob Thompson through this prism. Ethan, show the good people Justin Crawford's splits last year in the minors versus lefties and righties, because it's somewhat eye-popping. Justin Crawford is actually better versus lefties. He has almost a 50-point higher batting average. His on-base stays the exact same. His slugging goes up by like 80%, and his OPS is like 70 points higher. Truly like eye-popping splits that shows you Justin Crawford, you need to see him at a major league level versus lefties. I get the 1 day off, the 2 days off in a row, I kind of didn't get. And, you know, I'm not pissed game 4 of the MLB season, but I was kind of like, Rob, you got to give him a shot versus lefties.
One of the first players I ever talked to when I started covering the Phillies was Juan Pierre, the year that he was here with the Phillies. And he was a lefty who always hit lefties. And I remember asking him, like, what's the key? What's the secret? And what he said was that when you're a lefty against lefties, you have to stay in there. You can't bail out. You focus on having to, like, stay through the baseball, right? And Justin Crawford, his natural swing and his natural approach is that offensively. Probably explains why he's been able to have so much success against same-handed pitching in the minors. I didn't get the decision at all to sit him in that game. I get, Rob Thompson's rationale was that the Phillies faced like 4 consecutive left-handed pitchers, and he didn't want to continue exposing Crawford to lefties like so many times in a row. He also isn't just thinking about Justin Crawford when he makes that decision. He's also thinking about it's a way to get Marsh in the lineup against the lefty, see what he's got, keep him more sharp and fresh, coming off of a good weekend. But it just seemed to me like a decision that involved a lot of like overthinking. Rob Thompson, there's decisions that he makes good and bad, decisions that backfire. You can always question whether the manager made the right call. Yeah, but I mean, it just stuck out to me as like, let the kid keep playing. Yeah. And they will let him play over the course of the season.
No? I didn't have a problem with it. It's early in the year, and you're going to treat him carefully, cautiously. And while those splits are impressive, it's not the big league level.
No, certainly not.
And you want to bring him along slowly. I got no issues with that. I think Corey's right about, what it does for the rest of the lineup. And he's being so lefty dominant against yet another lefty. I didn't have a problem with it. And again, you'll see June, July.
It's a different story for
He'll be playing, right.
Yeah, I don't doubt
this early. And against big league, Like those numbers mean nothing to me, right? Like he's the type of guy. He's
a little something to me.
Well, here's why. I'm just going to give you. I hear you. But
Yeah.
Here's why I don't. I know the kid can hit.
Yeah.
To Corey's point, when you have a guy that doesn't drive the ball, they're easier to hit lefties. Those guys that like now you're talking about your Dan Alvarez, who is
He's a freak,
who is unbelievable at hitting lefties, who's left-handed and hits for power. Schwarber can do a little bit of that, a little bit with Bryce, but in reality, those guys that just put the ball in play are much better against lefties. I just think he's looking at him going, "Hey, I'm going to take the kid slowly, bring him in. We love what he's doing. Keep your confidence up, and you'll see him play, against lefties in the future.
But this is going to come up frequently throughout the season because not only are the Phillies going to face a lot of left-handed starters just based on the way the schedule plays out, but teams are going to use left-handed openers against the Phillies a lot too.
Have to.
Like we saw last night, the Nationals use an opener in front of Zach Littell because they want that lefty to be able to face Harper and Schwarber.
Well, Latz was supposed to be an opener.
Same thing.
And he went up going, whatever it was,
good points.
5 or 6.
Yeah, so like Jacob Latz, when Jacob deGrom got scratched with a stiff neck, that might have been a right-hander if not for the Phillies' left-handed dominance instead of Latz. So there are going to be a lot of nights where there's a lefty starter on the mound, and you're going to have to start a couple of these lefties because they're not going to be in the game long.
Marsh is going to be key to this.
Do you know? They flashed the stat last night. Since last May, Brandon Marsh, I think was it 4th in all of baseball in terms of batting average?
Wow.
He's hitting over 300 since last May 1st. I'm impressed. It kind of floored me when I saw the stat and the names he was up there with. I went, damn.
And he's
on a bit of a run here.
And he's been having good swings early this year. It's not just, he's been going the other way. And what they always talk about with Brandon Marsh is that when he gets pull happy, that's when he gets into trouble because his natural swing is like in between short and third. So when he's doing that, man, he's a really good player. And I know that the ball dropped in front of him in center field. He's kind of like an average defensive center fielder, but
he's a really good left fielder.
The Phillies are just trying to accentuate his strengths. Play him in left field, play him against right-handed pitching, and he can be a very good player.
Yeah, I agree.
The key with Marsh is just he needs to do it for 6 full months because we've seen big halves, big months. We just haven't seen it for an entire season. And for a guy like that who's a year and a half away from free agency, it means a ton to him to be able to show I'm not just a good part-time player. I'm a good everyday player.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of Bohm? All right. We had the one home run on opening day. What do you think of his swings?
Made a really nice play over by foul territory yesterday.
The sliding grab, early in the game.
Catch.
I mean, we talked early in the season just about how, when he comes up in those spots, bases loaded, he has the ability to hit a 2-run single, but he also is one of the best in baseball at hitting that 6-4-3 double play. Last night he comes up, Phillies bases loaded, 1 out, hits into a 5-4-3 double play, hits it so hard right at the third baseman. It's just like, tailor-made. Alec Bohm in this cleanup spot, it might not be a full season thing. You might see Garcia in there in a couple weeks if he continues to hit the ball well, but that's going to make or break the Phillies season in certain ways.
I'll be honest with you, I'm ready to make that move.
Already?
Yeah. I never liked it. I never liked him in the cleanup spot.
I think if Bohm's in your 5 or 6 hole, it's a great situation. If he's in your 4 hole, it's like,
So you would make that move right now and shift Garcia into that?
I would never.
Spot,
I would have.
see what it
I
looks
would have
like?
had Garcia start. At cleanup.
And I don't think it's the kind of thing where if you make that move and you flop Bohm and Garcia and you make Bohm 6, I don't think that's going to totally sap him of all his confidence and cheat. There were times over the last couple of years where it seemed like Nick Castellanos sulked because he was in the batting 7th or 8th.
It didn't seem like it. He was sulking.
But Bohm,
the artist.
Bohm, you're not going to see the same thing. He would just accept that role change. So it will be worth exploring.
Which is more for him.
Yeah.
I think he's great in the 6 hole.
Yeah.
That's where I see him at. I think he's a 6 hole hitter.
Well, that 4 spot still sticks out as the spot the Phillies have to solve this season.
Yeah.
Ideally, to be able to, move this thing forward.
I go back to Garcia. He's done it. He's done it and he produced.
All right, Ant, before this next break, Corey and I got to talk about it on Monday. I'm obsessed with the ABS system. I love it. I think it brings a game within the game. I think it engages the fan base. CB Buckner last night got exposed. He got bare-assed with another terrible call. And he's behind the plate again today. My man is going to retire before the All-Star game. So this is going to weed out the week. I'm obsessed with the ABS. And it came into play last night when Jhoan Duran is on the bump. And the Nats are out of challenges. And Duran had really good control and command last night, and he was picking his spots just outside the zone, just a little bit out. And you could see the Nats were like getting kind of ticked off that they wanted to challenge it, but it was such a good pitch that they had to offer at it. This is like the game within the game, and when a closer of Duran's capabilities knows that they're out of challenges, I think it's a whole new wrinkle in baseball that's awesome.
Yeah, and the Nationals are an inexperienced young team, so I don't think that there's a lot of guys in that lineup who have like that elite level knowledge of the strike zone the way that like a Juan Soto or a Harper or a JT does.
Right.
And there are teams that use it in different ways. Like I would think the Nationals are more so this is a developmental year for them. They're not living and dying with every win the way a team like the Phillies is or the Mets are. So like teams are going to use their challenges strategically in different ways. I don't think the Phillies would run out of challenges so early in a game the way the Nats did last night because they know how important they're going to be later in a game. I also think it's kind of cool. Like Schwarber last night challenged a ball strike call and it was overturned from a strike to a ball and the crowd erupted. It was like, yeah, take that, Blue. Like that's the most fun part of it.
It is. It's great. It really is. It's great. It used to be like, what's he calling? He's calling low strikes.
Yeah.
Where's the zone?
Now it's proportional to their body and exact measures.
Right.
I'm always curious, like, because you talk to them, Bo and Charlie.
Yeah.
Are they pro? Do they like it? Like,
oh, yeah.
Because it just it levels it.
Yeah.
So you get the big moments right.
Well, there's no guessing. Like, and then you got to go, well, what? Like, where's the zone at today? Right, I mean, they could control it in such a way. So yeah, I think
I love it.
It also might make an umpire like straighten himself out in real time because if he's calling pitches that are just off the zone and then he gets overturned a couple times and realizes like, all right, I have to tighten it up. Like you see all those videos of Aaron Boone getting ejected over the years where he's saying like, tighten it up. This is gonna make guys do that.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. All right, on the other side we have today's lineup. We do have a baseball game in about 20 minutes, so we'll get into the lineup today and talk about some other ongoings around Major League Baseball after we hear from some of our friends here at PHLY. It's March in Philadelphia, and that means one thing for baseball fans. It's an exciting time of the year, and at Elkins Chevrolet, it's the time for real deals. 3 brothers, one promise, treat you like family, and give you a deal that makes sense. Trucks, they've got them. SUVs, of course they got those too. Payments that keep you in the game, absolutely. It's Chevy Truck Month, and the refunds are a big hit. And it's a great time for Phillies fans to check out the new Chevy trucks at Elkins. Get up to $7,360 in bonus cash on a new Silverado 1500. Contact Elkins Chevrolet today or see if you qualify for additional offers. If you're thinking about making a move, make it to Elkins Chevrolet on Route 73 in Marlton. Elkins Chevrolet, real brothers, real deals, and a whole lot of honking good service. Phillies fans, remember, together, let's drive. Do you really want Bryce Harper getting on the pitching mound and risking his elbow? No, of course not. You want your star players making plays out there for you, and that's where Togo comes in. For your small and mid-sized businesses, it's hard keeping up with those corporations out there. It's about working smarter, not harder. And with the competition heating up and AI in 2026 being what it is, it can get overwhelming fast. And that's why having a trusted guide like Togo to guide you through the process and build you exactly what you need at a fraction of the cost. Togo streamlines your company and operations by handling customer service, accounting, order management, logistics, admin, data entry, all the stuff that can bog a company down. Every engagement starts with a free process mapping, and Togo doesn't bill a dime until the real work begins. Programs start as low as $1,000 a month and are built to scale without breaking the bank. Visit harnesstogo.com and mention PHLY for a free operational assessment. PHLY Phillies podcast. All right, my prediction, Phil's busted open today. Take a series, right the ship, calm the waters. I'm calling a 6+ spot today for the Phils.
They need it. They sure
Ethan,
need it.
let's see today's starting lineup for your Fightins on getaway day. But here it is: Turner, Schwarber, Harper, Bohm, Stott, Garcia, Marsh, Realmuto, Crawford, and Cy Young Sanchez on the mound. So getaway day is your normal starting lineup today. There it is. I think it's bust out day.
It's an afternoon game. What's it, like 78 degrees outside?
It's perfect.
Outside.
It's a great day. It's a great day for ball.
And it's spring break for a lot of schools. Philadelphia is on spring break, so there's going to be a lot of kids there today. It's going to be a fun time. And yeah, I think it's and let's take a look at the pitching matchup as well.
Well, who gives you more confidence than Cristopher Sanchez?
Nobody.
I
mean,
going into a game knowing that you have that guy on the mound, you can pencil in for like 6 innings, maybe more than 6 innings, and just send it to the bullpen. I mean, especially against this Nationals team.
This has to be a route day. Today's a route.
Last night I was just happy with the win on Painter debut night. Today I want to see some blood in the water.
I agree.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at the Phillies schedule. You look at the Phillies schedule beyond this Nationals game. They then go to Colorado to face the Rockies. The Rockies are just as bad. That's not an easy place to play, no matter how bad the Rockies are.
They're dreadful.
They are really bad.
The lineup sucks.
They have like 2 good guys in Tovar and Goodman. And this is also the time of year where Coors Field isn't really playing like Coors Field, yet, because it's still cold.
And then Corey, where do they go? But to the dreaded House of Horror. San Fran.
No matter how good the Phillies are, they never play well in San Francisco. I think they're
goes back to the Ibanez dropping the fly ball.
Wow. Yes.
Oh God.
All that foul territory.
We read it before the show. They're 6-25.
I think they were 6-25 as of last season. So that might make them 7-27 now.
Yeah, I
something
think
like
at
that.
best they won 1 last year.
Yeah. So it's a unique ballpark in terms of the dimensions. Obviously, it's impossible to hit home runs in San Francisco. There's all that foul ground. But the Phillies, this is unique for them to be going out and taking that trip this early in the season. That
is weird.
Yeah, they're getting a couple West Coast trips out of the way in April and May, which could be good later in the season. But this has to be a good rest of the week for them. I mean, with this game against the Nationals and 3 in the Rockies, you got to go 3-1 in those 4 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it starts today with Cristopher Sanchez on the mound. He's great. It doesn't get much better of a start to the season for Cristopher Sanchez. Cavalli got hit around a little bit. 1.64 whip in his first outing of the year. Only made it through 3 2/3. So there's no excuses today.
I don't want to hear anybody tipping their cap to Kay Cavalli this afternoon. Okay, I don't want to.
That's a storyline we don't need.
Right-hander that doesn't throw especially hard.
Yeah, they need to hit this guy, especially the 2 lefties.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully the Phillies take a series and then they hit the road. All right, I want to get to the final word, and then we'll kind of talk about some stuff going on around Major League Baseball. My final thought here today, I shouldn't be surprised. I've been in the media 20 years now in this town. I know this town. I speak hoagie mouth. I get it. The reaction to Bryce Harper, the first 4, now 5 games of the year, actually surprised me. It shouldn't have, because I should never underestimate the overreactions of this town. But it really genuinely kind of floored me. And I think it's kind of Dave Dombrowski's doing of how people feel about
Bryce Harper. You
Harper.
had that take. I thought that was a good take. I think you're right. He opened the door for the public criticism. And we always have a weird relationship with star
stars.
players.
Yes.
There is not
People
a lot
were calling me a simp online. They were like, if Mike
they heard
can get booed.
They heard what you said at the beginning of the show.
So I'm getting called a simp for just telling people to chill out and relax. It's 4 games of baseball.
Yeah, there's no grace that is allowed star players here.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. I mean, I don't understand it.
I don't get it either.
Because there's almost like a glee that they're rooting against them.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel.
And like baseball of all sports, like in basketball, if you're a superstar player, even if you have a bad game, you might shoot poorly, but you're still going to get your 30 points, a lot of the times. Sure. Whereas baseball, you can go through 3-4 weeks of just slumping and still finish where you always do.
Right. The back of your baseball card means something.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
And I know that when you're in the midst of a slump, fans don't like hearing that, but it's just so true. Like there was a couple years ago, it sticks out to me, Freddie Freeman was hitting 125 at the end of April. And you look at the first half when he gets to the All-Star break, he's hitting 296. It's what always happens. I mean, if Bryce Harper is still...
It's how we approach baseball sometimes.
Yeah.
We approach it through the prism of football.
Yes.
And it's not healthy. It's not right. It's not like we know the game. Like everybody knows the game.
I've definitely seen that throughout the course of my career covering the Phillies, just based on the responses you get quickly on Twitter or in emails after games, that there's definitely less room for error. There's less I wouldn't say attention span, but there's just everything's just so sped up And it is like the footballification of all sports because every game now is treated like it's, life or death. And I get it, especially early in the season because we've been waiting long for this team to come back.
You're in on everything. But it goes back to the star player thing as well.
It does.
Like Embiid.
Mike Schmidt had to wear a wig.
Yeah.
Embiid gets crushed. Like injuries. I get the frustration with his injuries, but he's the most talented, prolific scorer we've ever had.
And I look at like Embiid and Harper, all the stuff they've played through, all the injuries, the nicks and bruises, the serious injuries that they've played through, all the scares they've had. I mean, Harper almost getting his face broken and being able to win an MVP
and
award.
Harper wants to be here. He's never been like, I don't want to be here. He wants to be here.
Yeah, so if there's anybody that should be embraced, you would figure it's him. I mean,
or give it some grace.
I would say that
allow some grace for the guy.
The flip side, though, is that we see like the passion and knowledge and just like the how much the Phillies fans get it with how they treated Andrew Painter last night. Because a lot of top press spots.
Well, we love kids.
Yeah.
See, that's that's who we are as fans. Like we love the young kid. It's weird.
It's like the mystery box. It could be anything.
I get it. I love the young kid too, but like.
You're getting paid like an MVP.
Right. Like, which is a joke. What's it a joke? Come on, dude.
This guy's not elite.
It's like everybody get a grip. Go outside. It's baseball. It's 5 games.
And that's the part. Like that's the part of it is that the sport as your emotions need to be in relation to the sport. I blame media though because the hot takes and the Christopher Russo. I don't tell you about
I gotta tell you, cuz he's not playing like an MVP out there.
I mean, the sad reality of that is just that like we know what the truth is that like Bryce Harper will probably be fine. But if you're like a sports writer and you write that, nobody's clicking on that. So you have people who feel like they have to say Bryce Harper is falling off a cliff and it's declining, and here's why, even if it's not true.
Yeah,
right.
Corey, any final word for you?
And then mix in AJ Brown.
Yeah. Anything on your mind? You want to get off your chest before we get out of here?
I'm just like really taking. I know we've talked a lot about this, but like Painter and Crawford are so important for the Phillies. When we came into the season, we talked about how those might be two of the 5 most important players on the team, and Phillies fans should be ecstatic about what they're seeing early on. Not just because Crawford's hitting 300 or 308 or whatever he's at, and because Painter allowed 1 run, but because these guys are going to be focal points of your team for years to come, and they both look like they have skill sets that are going to translate to the major leagues. So.
And anything on your mind you want to get off your chest before we get out of
Enjoy
here?
this rotation. This rotation will be special. This reminds me of 2011. You have every night, there's going to be somebody on the mound that's a shutdown starter.
Yeah, the fact that Andrew Painter showed you what he showed you, and you get to roll that right into Chris Sanchez there, that's exciting.
Soon you won't have to worry about Taijuan Walker.
You know what's funny about that, too, is that you know how when we talk about the 2011 rotation, those guys will always say, and don't forget about Joe Blanton. Don't forget about Joe Blanton as the 5th starter. That's almost like what the Phillies need Aaron Nola to be this year.
Yes.
Is to be the Joe Blanton, to be the innings eater.
The beauty, though, is that Roy Oswalt came here at the end. He wasn't that good.
No.
When he came here. He was great with Houston back in the day. But the 4 here, it's almost greater than the 4 then.
Yeah. I mean, Oswalt, when the half season he had, I think in 2010 was good, but then 2011 was injury prone and he wasn't. But whereas this, you might have Sanchez, Wheeler, Painter, Luzardo all doing it the same year.
Right.
They're all like in the primes of their career.
I know.
Except for, Painter's at the young stage, Wheeler's at the old stage. But Wheeler, I still consider this like his prime because
so do I.
Because he missed so many years in his 20s with the Mets, so he doesn't have as many bullets on his shoulder. And this is obviously the best he's ever been.
Yeah.
So
I'm expecting a big year out of him.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, Wheeler, when he got hurt last year, was pitching better than ever. It was the highest strikeout rate and the lowest whip of his career. So I don't see any reasons wwhy Wheeler shouldn't be elite right away.
Wheels up!
Yeah, this rotation is going to be a lot of fun. This bullpen should be one of the best in baseball. Is Andrew Painter going to be the best when we do this show in August? Is Andrew Painter going to be the best number 5 in baseball?
Yeah,
I think he's number 4.
Well, yeah. They'll probably keep him in the 5 spot.
I think he'll be the best number 4 in baseball.
I mean, most teams don't even have a 5th starter. Most teams use an opener on their 5th starter day.
Bullpen,
yeah. So
pretty damn fun.
I would say.
So the Phils are in action momentarily. So this was like kind of our first unofficial pregame show of the year. But if you're new to the PHLY Phillies podcast, just checking us out, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Hit that thumbs up button down there. And before we get out of here today, we got a super chat from our man, Frank Barber, always there.
Frankie!
Love Frankie. He says the response to Harper is the built-up frustration over the last few years, the failure to produce when it matters the most time again,
but he hasn't failed. He hasn't been a guy that failed.
He has the best OPS in modern
He's
baseball
had bigger,
playoff.
not just
history.
the Padres. He's come against the Braves. I mean, he's come through. He's not a choke artist.
No, he's not. And today's the day. I think he gets a big hit today.
I hope so.
Gets the stadium into it. Ethan Hartley behind the scenes producing today's show. We thank you. Make sure you're checking out allphly.com for the great writing of the Phillies, of Corey Seidman and Anthony Gargano. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in today. We'll be back Friday at 12 noon, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 12 o'clock, right here from the Xfinity Lounge. This is the PHLY Phillies podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.